And we are live, we are live, we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Forrest out in St. Louis with episode number 3 of the XTRM Legacy Creator. So welcome, 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 welcome. Got my beautiful, on this side, beautiful daughter over here is going to be hanging out with us today. The Miss Krysta, this Miss Krysta. I'm going to give just a few minutes for this to push across all the channels. Hopefully get some people to jump on here. And I'm excited for this interview. I'm going to go ahead and post this, all your contact details and credentials in there. Well, Sonia, thanks for swinging by. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Welcome, 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 welcome. Periscope did not get your comments. Whatever, Periscope. We'll be okay without Periscope. So if you haven't been here before, every Thursday at about 4:15, I do an interview with an up-and-coming entrepreneur or an already successful entrepreneur, just to have a point of reference for us to maybe doing some encouragement, give you some encouragement and tips to move forward, maybe get you out of your fear zone, have someone to inspire you, and maybe even have someone to connect to that you can relate to if you're thinking about starting your own business and creating your own path to create your own legacy. So without any further ado, I want to welcome my awesome daughter, Krysta. I've known her all her life. She's absolutely awesome, 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 awesome. She's constantly got an outside voice. So she's very, very creative. She's got an absolutely awesome eye, and so proud of her making that move here just at the beginning of the month to go full-time entrepreneur, business owner. So I know that was a big, scary step. So Miss Krysta, and all her credentials, I posted them. You can see if you want to get in touch with her. Highly, highly recommend if you want to find out what she does, especially for you ladies, get in touch with her. I mean, she's very uplifting. She's got a really, really good mission at hand, and I think it'll be really enjoyable. So Miss Krysta, take it away. Tell us your story. Tell us about sort of why you moved into your business, where you started. Tell us a little bit about your history and how you got started. You got it.
Okay, so hi everybody, I'm Krysta. I'm currently a boudoir photographer for Beautifully Empowered Boudoir. It's a brand that I started a little over a year and a half ago. I went to college, I graduated with a computer science degree, and I worked as a software engineer for 3 years. I think like exactly 3 years. My last day was maybe like 2 days after my 3-year anniversary at that job. And for a long time, I guess throughout my life, I've tried a lot of things. I went to be a fashion designer. I had a clothing store that was very short-lived. I've done and failed at a lot of things, and I really think that's what brought me to where I am today. I knew that I wanted to do something creative, but I wasn't sure what. So I spent a lot of years just trying out a lot of things. I did YouTube for about a year, and that was like semi-successful, but then I realized that it just wasn't what I wanted to be doing. And photography has been something that I've done for a really long time. I did like fashion. I had a fashion blog, so I kind of started out taking photos of myself, and I still take a lot of photos of myself. It's a big part of my brand. So maybe I think out of college, or not out of high school, I started my fashion blog. And that's when I really started taking photos. And other people asked me to take photos, but it really wasn't ever something that I did very seriously. I kind of just did it here and there for people that would see my photos and ask me. And then I really wanted to do something that was meaningful to me and that I enjoyed, but also had a positive impact on other people. And so when I found out about boudoir photography, it kind of just encompasses everything I love, right? Like the fashion, being extra, dressing up, and just how much I didn't realize how the type of positive effect that photos could have on somebody. And when I looked more into boudoir photography, I just felt like it was really what I want to do. I love empowering women, even outside of my photography business. I have a Facebook group, and we have just over 2,000 women. We just hit over 2,000 today that are in that group. And I just love uplifting each other and empowering each other. And it's just really in line with everything that I'm passionate about. And so I just get to encompass everything that I love into my business. So every day I wake up and get to enjoy doing what I'm doing. So once I really found this, and once my business really started to get going, which ironically was when quarantine started, is when everything started blowing up. And so that's when I just started my group in April, I think. So we've grown to over 2,000 women just in the past few months. And that really exploded my business. So when I realized that I could do more meaningful work and also make a living off of it, that's when I decided that it was time for me to go full time into my photography business. So yeah, it's really been a whirlwind. I wasn't expecting it to kind of blow up as fast as it did. It definitely wasn't, a plan. It was a hope. It was a dream. But I've just been working my butt off to make this happen because I know this is what I want to do.
Absolutely awesome. So appreciate you sharing that story. So a couple of things that I heard. One, you said working your butt off. And second, you said you weren't expecting it to explode the way that it did. But earlier you talked about having a passion and following that passion. And what I've learned from everybody I've ever interviewed, everyone I've ever talked to, those are usually the exact three things that happen, not necessarily in order, is if you chase money, you're most likely always going to be discouraged. If you follow your passion, it almost instantaneously just blows up overnight. So in knowing that, talking about entrepreneurs, especially for Black entrepreneurs, Black female entrepreneurs, and being tell us how old you are, Miss Krysta.
I'm 26. I'll be 27 next month. So
Miss Krysta is 26 years old, and which is absolutely amazing. And I know it's a big step. There's a lot of fear in there. Yeah. What do you think? And just share this with the brand new entrepreneur, maybe the woman that's thinking about, oh man, I really want to do this. And we know that you need to be passionate about what you're doing. What was one of the hurdles, or what was one of the fears you had, or maybe what was one thing that was holding you back from maybe moving forward and moving from the regular traditional 9 to 5 and going ahead and taking that leap of becoming an entrepreneur? What was the thing that maybe held you back from taking that step before you did?
I think this idea that people wouldn't want to pay me for the services that I had to provide. I think there's, you think about photography and you might have an idea of what people are willing to pay. And maybe, I personally, I don't want to have to do 500 sessions a year to be able to afford my life, right? So this idea that what I want to be able to charge people what I needed to survive, and more importantly, what I wanted to earn from this business. And I think that's more of a mindset block. I realized that there are a lot more people, local people, I'm not St. Louis isn't that huge of a city, but there are a lot more people that are charging way more than I do. And, if they're doing it, then you can do it too. And there are there's plenty of clients available to everybody. And this idea that you have to be in competition with the people around you. I honestly don't care what the other photographers in our area are doing. I only worry about myself. I only worry about the services that I'm providing to my clients, because those are the ones, that are paying me. And I don't worry about what the other people are or not charging, whether they're charging more or less than me. I know my value and I know my worth. And I feel like once you understand that, then it's easier to move forward. There are going to be plenty of people that tell you that, oh, you're too expensive. And that's okay, because that's not your client. And there's people that have told me that I'm too expensive. And there's people that, hand me their credit card and say, charge it, and it's fine. So there are going to be clients for you. You just have to decide what you're worth, what you're willing to work for. And then you have to go out and find those people that are going to value what you have.
That's absolutely awesome. And you were talking about value and worth, and having a client base that's going to be attracted to you. One thing that I've learned in my marketing business, and what I do is when I'm reaching out to people, it's not everybody. I mean, I've got 3 people today that basically, when I was reaching out to people, that said no. And that's okay because there's millions and millions of people out there. So one of the things that I know, and early on we was talking about, charging, is making sure that you have enough value in what you're doing and know that you're worth it. Not everybody's going to want to be your client.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely okay. So if you are a young entrepreneur, you're wanting to start your business, and this is what I learned selling advertising, which was a very, very important part of moving up to a six-figure income, was not to spend the other person's money. And when I think about, oh man, they're not going to buy it because it's too expensive, or they're not going to do this because it's too expensive, is when I start thinking about spending the other person's money, then I devalue myself in that deal. So that was a great point there of making sure that you feel you're worth what you're charging, and that deep down in your heart you are. And if somebody wants to go get photos somewhere else, they can absolutely do that. Yep. And hopefully that other person has feels value in work as well. So for sure. So what is the one thing? I keep saying the one thing. You can do two or three things. So for somebody starting out, so you were a little bit afraid, you had some apprehension about how much you charge. You got over that, you moved forward, and you found that the people are just, there's people who are going to charge and there's people that aren't, which is absolutely okay. In terms of moving forward and somebody just now getting started, do you recommend sort of writing down a path? Do you have a path to follow? Do you have like a daily organized plan of how you have everything laid out? And what would you recommend would be the first couple of steps that somebody would take to moving forward to starting their own, following their passion and starting their own business?
Okay, so I'm trying to think what I did when I first started. I think finding like-minded people, finding a group of like-minded people. Maybe they're doing the same thing as you. Maybe they're doing something different than you. But that really, really helped me in the beginning. I'm in a group full of other boudoir photographers specifically that are very open to helping people, answering questions, providing information. And I would credit that group honestly to the success that I've had in my business. I don't think I would have been able to get here and to just know the things that I know and understand the things that I do now without those people there. So finding a group of like-minded people that are willing to help you, and understanding that sometimes that help is not always going to be free. So investing in education from people that have done it before and are doing it, but also not getting stuck in the learning phase. Don't constantly be searching for information. You have to, enact it. You have to actually do it. So don't just get stuck constantly. I think it's easy for people in the starting phase to just be like, okay, I just need a little bit more research, just keep looking up things, and they never actually start doing it. And the important thing is to get some information, and whatever you know now, start doing that now. Like, don't wait until it's perfect. Start now. I look back at the photos that I took, like my first photos, and they're not that great. At the time, my clients love them, but like considering the type of stuff that I produce now, I just learned so much. So keep learning and keep doing, and finding a group of like-minded people that can support you in what you do is just going to be invaluable.
And what she just said, and then this is so funny, because one of the things in the marketing group that I'm in, we have several multimillionaires in the group, and a lot of people get stuck taking action because they're trying to be perfect before they move forward.
Yep.
And if you're looking for perfection, the same thing with me. When I first started my first Facebook Live videos, they were horrible. I mean, they were just very cheesy. People ask me, I seem so natural and calm on video. It's because I've done thousands of them. I just get on and do this. And I know, I know Miss Krysta, I go back and watch her YouTube videos, and they're just absolutely phenomenal to see how charismatic you are on camera. So what I heard in that was, if you're going to do something, step out on faith, take action, because what I've discovered is the more action I take, the better I get.
Yep.
And
exactly.
As a result, then I can look at that and say, okay, I did this, and this, and I got these results. I took this action, and this action, and I got these results. So learning is great. Education is great. I know that people that I coach and mentor, I have them on like 2 hours a day. 2 hours one time a week is education. Everything else is action.
Yep.
Because action in itself will educate you in terms of knowing which path to go down. If you do something 10 times and you're getting 0 results, you might need to adjust that a little bit to find out, take another path. One thing you also said that you're in a group of like-minded people, which we all know having a mentor, somebody that's been there and done that, so you don't have to make as many mistakes, is very, very important as well. What in terms of just starting a business as a whole, and I'm just totally pulling this out of the blue because I don't know the answer. In terms of starting a business as a whole, what would you say the importance is or is not of somebody? Because I know some people want to start an LLC and they want to get all licensed and they want to do all this kind of crazy stuff. And I've seen you rebrand and rebrand and rebrand and rebrand. In that context, in terms of getting started, what do you think? How important is it to get an LLC and a business license and all that kind of stuff?
So I think, I guess it really just depends. I'm registered as an LLC because I expect to grow my business very large. But starting out, when I first registered my business, it was just as a sole proprietor. So it was very simple. I think start out simple. And as my business has grown, I've re-registered my business just because that's what's easier for me. But technically, like in the terms of the state, like I still work as a sole proprietorship just because I'm a single person. But eventually I do want to hire like a full-time makeup artist to be on the team. So it really just depends on what your goals are. I think a lot of businesses, if it's just going to be you can just start out as a sole proprietorship and then just work your way from there. There's really no need to complicate it from the get-go.
Absolutely awesome. I appreciate that. So speaking to Black women that you're looking to empower, and just power women in general, but in terms of speaking to Black women, what would you say would be your fear? What was one of the fears that you had to just overcome as being a Black woman and starting a business? What were the things that maybe held you back that you're a little bit apprehensive about?
Yeah, so I think the first part is because I was working in software engineering, I think I felt a lot of pressure on me to stay in that field because I was a Black woman and because there aren't really many Black women in the software engineering field. So I felt a pressure to stay in there for the sake of representation, even though it wasn't making me happy. And I kind of came to this realization that as a Black woman, whatever I do, wherever I am successful, that can be an inspiration to other people that look like me, right? So there's not a lot of Black women boudoir photographers either. So I can be an inspiration for that, or photographers in general. So I think along with that, this idea that maybe because I'm a Black woman, like I don't connect with certain people, which I've realized to be very untrue. I think it gives me an advantage because I am a Black woman. So I post I just automatically draw a very diverse client set because of that. So nobody comes to me and be like, oh, I'm worried that you can't photograph people that look like me because I look like them. So if anything, especially with recent events, a lot of photographers are like, wow, my portfolio is not diverse enough. I realize that, my client base isn't very diverse because I don't give, those type of vibes out, but I've never had to worry about that because I am a Black woman. I attract people that look like me. And I also have a ton of people that do not look like me that know I can photograph them. So I've had the advantage of already having a very diverse clientele.
So one thing that you said in there, which was a key, is you said that you wanted to stay in the IT industry because you wanted to represent. And then one thing that you noticed is like, wait a minute, it's not just about me being a Black woman, it's about me doing what I do and attracting people around me. So there was a slight roadblock in there. Then the realization, the light bulb came on. I'm going to attract people to me regardless of what my skin color looks like.
Yes.
So if my passion and my mission is on the right path, then it really doesn't matter. Are there going to be people out there going to be jerks? Absolutely, because I know you're telling me about your YouTube channel. You get a lot of hate on your YouTube channel from people that they're just haters.
Yeah.
And the haters, in my opinion, the haters come to sharpen your blade, to give you strength to move forward, because if you don't have haters, you're probably not on the right path.
Yeah.
You gotta get a lot of
true.
haters. I swear, it's like haters come along, you're like, yes, I'm going in the right direction. So
Yes.
gotta have those hater fans to let you know that you're tracking in the right direction. What would you say to young women who are sitting out there, and they might be catching this and they're, oh man, what do I do? I've been thinking about this idea, and I'm thinking about this idea, and I'm thinking about this idea. What is one thing that they can just unplug the fear and move forward? What do they need to do, just like to go get it? Do they need to say something? Do they need to ask somebody? Do they just need to go do it? What would you say would just be the sort of the kick in the butt to get them out the door and start crushing their passion?
I would say, I think it really took me a while of kind of like, currently I have like a journal, and I write in it like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. It's not something I wish I'm going to do. It's not something I hope to do. Like, this is what I'm going to do. And I think that it's a process, and sometimes I write it down and I don't believe it, but I write it down anyways. And it's really just getting into this mindset that you will accomplish these things, and just setting those goals and really just keying in on them. I think having a focus really helps. I feel like previously I was kind of all over the place because I didn't know what I want to do. But now that I'm solely focused on my boudoir photography, that's when it kind of accelerated. So I think working on a mindset change is really going to be the first big step into being successful in whatever you want to do. And also maybe write down a list of, okay, if this is my goal, what are some small steps that I can take right now today to make some progress towards it? So is it like, okay, I need to look up and see if the business name is available. Maybe today I'm going to buy the URL, or maybe today I'm going to see if I can go find a Facebook group of like-minded people to join. So it's like these small little steps that you can take to accomplish your big goal. I feel like a lot of people become overwhelmed when they think about the big picture, and you really got to be able to break it down into very tiny pieces that you can accomplish one at a time.
Absolutely awesome. So one of the things, and Krysta and I are a lot alike, and when you have an A personality entrepreneur, it's everything is a squirrel, 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 squirrel. And my coach, she made me like kick off all the chaff, get the knife out and cut off all the stuff and really focus what I was focusing on. And you said some key things. One, write it down, because writing it down makes it real. You can see it. Write it down. You'll hear people say they write their goals on their mirrors in the morning. They put them in all kinds of different places. It's very, very important when you write it down. When I started on my XTRM brand, I've got a notebook just full of XTRM, 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 XTRM. And then when Legacy Creators came about, I saw that. I was inspired by a YouTube interview that I saw. Instantly went to putting it on paper. This is what I'm going to do. This is where I need to go. This is the passion. And I just started doing it. And as a result, this is episode 3 of 1 billion. However, being able to make the impact and do that. So if you're a young woman out there and you're not doing it, Krysta, definitely you want to reach out to her, because I'm sure she'll give you some really good tips. But write it down, put it on paper, make it real. And do that step. Plug into a group of people that you can hear to find out that you're not unique, that there's people out there. I'm getting a little emotional. There's people out there that need to hear your story. They need to know your struggle. They need to know where you came from. There might be that one person out there that you go on and you do your Facebook Live, or you do something and you empower them, and they hear your story and they go, oh my God, it might literally save their life, really, seriously. So there's a lot in there that you have as a testimony in your story, your struggle, where you came from. And knowing my daughter and seeing some of the early pictures that she took just with a natural eye on the camera, I'm just so blessed that you're just out there crushing it, taking names, and living your dream and passion. And the final thing that you said, or not final thing, but one of the things that you said was your mindset. In taking all these positive steps forward, it's the mindset of, hey, and one of the trainings I just did was called What If? And if you do that, what if you do start your business? what if you do make an impact? What if you do empower women? What if you do, you know, the what if is what if, what if, what if, what if. And that really helped me a lot move forward in taking those steps of reaching out to people. So what if I interview my daughter and she makes an impact on some little girl sitting somewhere that actually watches this and goes, man, I can do that. I can go out and crush the world, and I can
Yep.
just make a huge impact. So what if, right? So Miss Krysta, for those of you that didn't see it, I posted her credentials. They're actually scrolling across the screen here on the bottom. I'll go ahead and paste them in again to make sure that you have them. You can reach out to her if you're a woman that would like to get in, just have a powerful connection to another woman and talk about that stuff. It's very, very important that you do that you have a mentor, that I have an accountability group, which is absolutely a lot of fun because we push each other. So maybe an accountability group, some other people to hold you accountable to your mission and your vision and the direction that you're going in. So any closing thoughts, Miss Krysta, to somebody that's like maybe on the verge, maybe even they just started their business and they're just not really getting the results they want? What would you say to them, just on closing thoughts?
Be persistent. Believe in yourself. I almost gave up on this last year. And then, you know, I got a kick in the butt to keep going. And that really is the reason that I'm where I am today. So it's never going to be easy, and it's never going to be quick, and it's going to happen when you least expect it to happen.
It's never going to be easy. It's never going to be quick, and it's going to happen when you don't expect it to happen, as long as you continue to show up and chase your passion. So that's absolutely awesome. Truly appreciate you. Love you very, very much. Thank you for showing up. If you guys haven't seen her pictures, go to her timeline. It's in here somewhere. Go to her timeline. Look at some of her pictures that she's taken. She just put one up there. Just very, very cool a picture that she just posted. Go take a look at some of the photography. You'll be inspired. Reach out to her if you have any questions. I'm sure she'll be okay to connect with you. I love you. I'm sure Miss Krysta loves you. Jesus loves you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Go out and create a legacy, make a huge impact, and chase your dreams. Really appreciate you, Miss Krysta. Thanks for being my guest.
Thanks for having me on. Love you too, Dad.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.